Hey guys, and welcome back to the Freem Team. Yes, welcome back to the Freem Team. Today I am super excited. Anytime I have crab legs, I get real excited because that's my favorite food. And also today is TFT Tuesday and I'm back with my people. How are you guys doing? Make sure you guys let me know. Make sure you guys let me know in the comment section below because I want to make sure all my people are, doing okay. And if it's something that you need to talk about, we can talk. We can pray, however you want to do it. And hello to the new people. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you haven't already, please make sure you guys like, share, and feel free to subscribe. We would truly appreciate it. The whole team will. So, as you guys can tell by the title, I have a story time for you guys. Something in my spirit just told me to do this video. So I wanted to do this video and, get into a little bit about myself so you guys can learn me and know me. For the ones that don't know me, or for people that do know me, they probably don't even know this full story. So let me say my grace and then I'll get into the video. God is good. God is great. Thank you, Jesus, for this food. I pray that it's nourishing to our bodies. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Father God. Okay, so this video is about my testimony. I got snow crab, red potatoes, eggs, and corn and lemons. So I usually don't eat the eggs, but I had them before with our big seafood boil, and I don't know if they were good or not. So that's why I got them again. I got a little bowl of some butter sauce, and then I have my paper here because, like I said, this is my testimony, and I don't want to leave out anything. And this video, I'm not sure if it's going to be long, but now I'm going to try to tell it as quickly as possible, but I don't want to leave out anything. So that's why I wrote everything down, because I don't want to, hold you guys for so long. But like I said, I don't know who needed to hear this video, but, I'm here to tell it. So let me take a first bite. Look, guys. And then, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, so I'm gonna just jump right into it because it's kind of my life, and I just cleaned it up. Just made sure I wrote down the main events. It's about my jobs, really, the jobs that I had and the things that I went through in that process, so you guys can know that part of my life, all the jobs I had. So as you guys know, before I was pregnant at an early age. I was still in high school, but that's what God had for me. So I got pregnant, and they found out I was pregnant early. Well, I already knew, and they found out I was pregnant early. So it was either keep the baby, get out, or don't keep the baby and you can stay. So I decided to keep my baby, which is Terrence. So I got kicked out. I was living with my dad at the time, but God is my father. So I got kicked out, and I went to my grandma's house temporarily, and then I moved to the city. I was supposed to go and live with my mom. So I was in high school, so I had to go to a different school. I had to transfer schools, and I went to this school called Simpson. Now, Simpson is a school in Chicago, and it's like directed towards expecting moms. It's an all-girl school. It's super cool. It was a great school. I loved that school. It was a great experience. I was able to be around people that already had kids, and they just helped you. I used to have to ride the bus to school. They used to give me bus cards, and also they had a program. Well, they had like a school store where if you went to school all week, you would get like school bucks, and you're able to like get diapers and clothes for your baby, your kids, or whatever. So I liked it there. So I finished my school year there, and now it's the summertime. So that summer I was with my cousin Tyler, with her that summer, back and forth from the city to her house. And now it's time to enroll back in school. So I'm like, you know, I might as well just stay out here. I didn't mind, you know, staying there. So I asked her to ask her mom, shout out to Clynette, if I can stay there. And she said, of course, yes. So, which I was very grateful for. So it's time to go back to school. So I enrolled in her school. She was going to this school called Bloom High School. So a few of my family members had went there. It was no problem. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll go there. No problem. So mind you, when I first got pregnant, it was so many people like, you're not going to finish school. You're not going to be together. You're too young. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Your whole life is going to change and all this, that, and other. So I always thought, like, why are you guys saying I'm not going to finish school? I've never been a type that didn't want to go to school. Like, I enjoyed school. So I knew I had to finish school. I knew I wanted to finish school. But I also knew I had a point to prove to everybody that said I wasn't going to finish school. So I enrolled in Bloom. I'm pregnant. So I have to get a job. Terrence already had a job. He got a job when I first told him I was pregnant. So that's time I have to get a job. So I went and I got a job. I started working at Little Caesars. I liked Little Caesars. It was a cool job, you know, for a first job. So I'm working at Little Caesars, and time went on. I had the baby. Things are going good. We got us a car. We got our first car, and then we got us our first apartment. We had a studio apartment. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It was a studio apartment. We was paying about $600 to $700 a month for this little studio apartment. When you open our front door, when you came in, you was instantly in the bathroom, the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, and the bedroom, all in one. All in one. So when you walked in, you seen the whole house. But it was ours. So we was living in our studio apartment, and then a good friend of Terrence, and I was also going to school. Terrence, by this time, once I had the baby, he graduated. So he's in college now. He was going to the school called Prairie State. So I'm still going to school. You know, I'm still pushing myself. I'm still going to school. We got us a car, but I'm getting taught how to drive. Terrence was teaching me how to drive. I didn't have my license yet. So a good friend of Terrence, which is a great friend of mine now, Miss Angel, Terrence's friend was Kendall, and they have a daughter named Kaylin. I always talk about Kaylin on my channel. They are great people. We even lived with them at a point in time. But she was telling Terrence about this program that she think I should go to. So this program, it was new, and you go there and you can get, it was like a second chance for people that didn't finish school and I guess don't really want to take their GED test. So it was a second chance program. And I'm like, okay, I'll do whatever it takes to get my high school diploma, because the class did cost. I had to pay. And I'm like, okay, I'll do whatever. So we pay. I get to the class, and I'm the youngest one in the class. People in the class, they're like 30, 35. I had one person in the class. She was 51, and she just wanted to accomplish getting her high school diploma. I had a few people that was like 2 years older than me, but it was, you know, people that was in their 20s, but I was the youngest one. So I had to go. And at this time, we was doing great. Everything was going so good. We even got pregnant again. I'm pregnant with Journey at this time. So I got a baby, and I got a baby on the way. So 2 kids, but I'm still getting my high school diploma. So I used to, well, okay, we had us a car, but we had like an Illinois tollway ticket or something, so we couldn't renew our sticker. So we're riding on an expired sticker. Was expired license plate? Expired, something with the license plate was going on. But we weren't supposed to be driving the car, and then I didn't have no license. Terrence was going to school at the time, but he was driving me to school literally on those license plates. I mean, some days I rode with this girl that I was in school with because she didn't live too far. But yes, he was driving me to school on those expired license plates, and I graduated. I even got a certificate of most achieved, and it was great. It was high school. Like, we had a real graduation. It was great. So now that I graduated, everybody was going to college at the time. So Cameron's was in college, so I felt like, you know, that's the next step. You graduate high school, you go off to college. So I went to college for a semester, but when I got there, I didn't know what I wanted to go for at the time. I just didn't know. I wasn't sure. So I just had general classes. The counselor was like, just take general classes. You will eventually know what you want to go for. So after that semester, I still didn't know what I wanted to go for. So I started working at Chase Bank. I had Journey. Okay, wait, let me back it up. So before I went to college, we moved though. And in between moving, I was staying with my friend Terry. So shout out to Terry, Brittany, and their mom. They allowed me to stay with them. We had to move, and we ended up living with them for a summer, and then we ended up getting our second apartment. So at our second apartment, that's when we went to that's when I went to college. So that's why I wrote this down, because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so that's when I went to college, and then I started working for Chase Bank. And Terrence, he was working now. He was always working. He always kept a job. How he is today is how he been since day one. He always been a provider. He always been a good man, a good daddy, a good father, a good friend, a good, you know, everything, a good supporter. So now I'm working at Chase Bank, and it was great. I learned so much stuff. I met so many cool people who I still talk to this day, and it was great. It was cool. And we end up having another baby, and I was like, man, you know, baby number 3, this was like the feeling that I had, I couldn't describe. So he was like, you know, this what we want. He was like, I want a big family. You know, I have a bunch of siblings. He wanted a family. He wanted a big family, and I did too. We both wanted kids. So he was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just go to school for truck driving. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I was working at Chase. He was going to school to get his CDLs. It was going great. I was pregnant. No problem. You know, we was taking care of our kids. By the grace of God, no help. We didn't need, you know, anything. And we was doing great. So, so after he finished going to school get his CDLs, now he has to go over the road. Now, when you get your CDLs, well, not all, but majority that I know have to go over the road for a minimum of 6 months to get that experience. So he had to go over the road, and he was like, either you could be a stay-at-home mom, or you could just still work at Chase, but I have to go over the road. And I was like, no, we're gonna run it up together. We're gonna do this. I didn't want to put them in daycare, but I was like, you know, it's right there, no problem, early in the morning. What's the worst that could happen? So I ended up doing that, and daycare didn't work out. It was a lot going on, and then personal reasons for myself why I didn't want them in daycare. It was but I'll tell y'all that story. That's a different story time. So I had to be a stay-at-home mom, which was the best decision that I ever made. I just had a baby. By the time I had Major, I was breastfeeding. I breastfed my other kids for about 6 months, but I was able to breastfeed Major up until a year. I breastfed Rain into a year. It was just great. You know, your kids only turn 1 once. So I was at home with my kids, and it was the best thing that I could have ever did. So now, time went on. He on the road, or at least it was time for us to move. So we moved again. Now we found this beautiful condo. I'm talking about so beautiful. We stayed there for a while, about 5-6 years. So he's still on the road, and we moved. So I'm at home, and Major's, he got a little older. So I'm like, I didn't, you know, this wasn't my dream to be a stay-at-home mom. So I'm like, I have to have something under my belt as well, because we have big goals, big dreams. Okay, I'm sorry guys, my battery on my camera. So okay, where was I? Okay, so I didn't plan on being a stay-at-home mom. So I'm like, I want to do something. I have to do something. So my sister, the one that I was telling you guys, I have two sisters, Crystal and Dominique. So my sister, Dominique, she was going to school for phlebotomy. So I'm like, okay. I wanted to be in the medical field. I used to want to be at, well, my dream job, like my dream career, I used to want to be a comedian. So I always told myself, I said, if I do my first stand-up and they throw tomatoes at me or boo me, I'm going to just be a pediatrician. Anyway, go. So I'm like, okay, I might can do that. So I looked up some schools and found this school. It was 2 hours from my house though. So when we moved to our second place, we moved 2 hours away. So I forgot to tell you guys that. That's why I wrote it down. I don't like forgetting stuff. So we moved 2 hours away, but the school was 2 hours back towards Chicago where my family was. So I'm like, okay, there's no problem. So Terrence was still over the road and I had the kids. I was still a stay-at-home mom, but I wanted to go to school. So I told him, I want to go to this school. I told him everything and I told him how much it was. He paid for it and he was like, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. So he paid for the class. We paid up front and I got my books and everything. Got my little scrubs I went to get and I bought. And I'm ready for my first day of school. I got my babysitter in order. I got on the expressway. I got on early just in case I get in a traffic jam. Anybody that been in Chicago, you know, rush hour ain't no joke. So I had my babysitter in order. I got 5 minutes from my babysitter and I called her and she didn't answer. So I text like, I'm 10 minutes away and mind you, school started in about 25 minutes. So I'm like, I'm 10 minutes away. She texts back, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I was just like, wow, like my heart was just like, wait, what? This is my first day of school. I can't be late. So I was like, where should I drop them off? But I don't let a lot of people watch my kids. Like nobody really watch my kids. It's just I like my kids to be with me. And then I don't like just pushing my kids off. I don't like popping up at no one house like, here, can you watch my kids? Especially unexpectedly. But I have a big family. I'm pretty sure they would have been more than happy to watch my kids. But I would have wanted to let them know in advance rather than just knocking on your door 10 minutes before class, 20 minutes before class and asking you to watch my kids. So I didn't want to do that. I just felt like it was respectful not to do it. So I look back at my kids in the back seat. I got all three of them. I look back at my kids. They all looked up at me like, what we gonna do? And I wanted to break down and cry, but I couldn't. I couldn't in front of my babies. And something told me, someone was like, Doris, it whispered, Doris, go to that school. I said, go to the school? Like all the way to the school? That voice was like, yes, go to the school. So I went to the school and I had Major in a stroller and I had the other two. So I got a baby and two toddlers. And I'm late. Well, I'm the last one really. So I opened a door and the whole class looked back at me like it was show and tell. So I was embarrassed. I'm gonna be honest, I was totally embarrassed because I was the only one there with my kids. So I pulled the teacher to the side and she, before I even got a chance to finish my sentence, she was just like, next time just make sure you have a sitter. And I was like, okay. So they sat there the whole time and they watched. I had Netflix set up on my phone and you guys know my kids are pretty well behaved. So they sat there, they was quiet. She even let us out early so I can be able to get back home. She knew I had drove 2 hours away, so she was like, I'm gonna let you guys out early. And she was like, drive careful. So I had to find a new babysitter, which was my Auntie Davina. Shout out to you, Auntie Davina. Thank you so much again. If you ever need a job, you can watch my kids anytime. But so after that, I end up getting my phlebotomy certificate, my certificate of achievement. And where we at now? So yeah, I got my phlebotomy certificate. So I like it. I'm good at drawing blood. So now I get back home after that, all that was over. Terrence was still on the road. After a few months or so, he was able to find a local job. So now he's home every night. Now it's time for me to put this certificate to use. So he's like, come on, babe, let's go. And we got in the car. I was dressed. I was interview ready. Had on my black slacks, my top, and I was ready. So we drove about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, driving around, look for places. We was gonna go to the hospital, actually, and see if they needed a phlebotomist. So he was like, what's that place? And I was like, DaVita? He was like, let's go in there. So I walked in there, and DaVita is a dialysis center. I'm like, okay, this is like phlebotomy. It should be, you know. I get to the front desk and I asked the guy, I'm like, is the manager available? He was like, yes. Just a second. She came up, little short lady. Her name was Lynn. I was like, hi, how you doing? My name is Doris. I was just wondering, was you guys, hiring? She was like, oh yes. All you have to do is go to DaVita.com and fill out the application. I'm like, okay, thank you. And she was like, wait, come here. I want to show you around and introduce you to some people and show you the floor and everything. So I'm like, okay. So we walked around. I seen the floor. I met some patients. I met some of my old co-workers. It was nice. She would show me the lunchroom. This is where you would have your break time. You get your own locker and everything. So I'm like, okay. She showed me everything. So when I left out, I get back to the car like, I didn't fill out the application yet. I get to the car. I tell Terrence, I was like, I got a job. Oh, I got a job. So I was so excited. I filled out the application. She called me back the next day. She was like, I received your application. We're going to do a background check. Some people take 5 to 7 business days. Some people, it's quicker. So I'm like, okay, that's nothing. I got nothing on my background. That's nothing. So I went to Walmart, got me some scrubs because I knew I had the job. So I went to Walmart, got me some scrubs, which they were super big. I don't know why I went to Walmart. My sister was like, you should go to, she told me a different place I should go to, but they swallowed me. But so she called me and she was like, hey, Doris, can you come in real quick? We have a problem with your background. So I was like, okay. So, I didn't want to be like, well, what's the problem? I'm like, okay, I'll come in. So I got off the phone. I was like, problem with my background? I'm trying to think, did I do something? I was like, no, I ain't did nothing. So I was like, maybe somebody used my name. I said, because my original last name is so hard to spell. Like, you would have to really know me to remember how to spell my last name. So I was like, somebody used my name. So I'm like, okay, babe, let's go up here and see what she's talking about because I'm confused. So he pulled back up to the Vita, and I'm like, babe, keep the car running. Keep the car running because I don't know who's in there. I thought the police was waiting on me, the Fed. I didn't know. I did not know. So I get in there, and she was like, yeah, it's a problem with your high school diploma. And I was like, my high school diploma? Wait, not that diploma, not that one. I worked hard for that high school diploma. I was staying here and here and here and here just to get that high school diploma, not that one. So I was like, this have the seal on it. I even have my transcripts. She was like, I know, it's legit. She was like, but we work with this new program. I mean, this new company called Hire Right. So it's the company. To me, at this point, it's not. It don't have anything to do with me. So I was like, okay, well, can you call them, see if they can run it again? It was a new school when I first went there. And let me know what they say. She was like, okay. So before I even got home, she was like, they said they was going to get back with us in 1 or 2 business days. So they ended up calling me back and told me I had to get a GED. And so I was like, a GED? And I heard so many bad stories about people getting their GED. So I told her, I said, I'm going to get back to you in 1 or 2 business days because I have a high school diploma and I worked hard for that high school diploma. I sure did. I walked across that stage. I was pregnant. I seen my 1-year-old son. He was waving. I seen my now husband. He was in the crowd. And my grandma. It was just, I'm like, I worked hard for that high school diploma. So I slept on it. And I was like, okay, I'll get the high school diploma. I mean, I'll get the GED. I'm going to see what it's about. So she told me where to go. She told me to go to the hall, the city hall, and take it. So I get there, and she said, okay, you got to take 8 tests. Each test is $60, plus you have to take, including the Constitution, but the Constitution is $80. And I said, $60 for each test? She said, yeah, and $80 for the Constitution. I said, I have to pay this up front? She said, oh, yeah. You want to be able to get on the computers without paying it up front. Okay, just a second. Just a second. I called Terrence, and he was like, you know, that's crazy, but like, he was like, but baby, it's gonna pay off in the end. So I ended up doing it, and I took all the tests, and let me tell you this first. Anybody that get their GED, don't take them all in one day. I took all those tests in one day. So yeah, I got to the Constitution and I was like, I'm just done. I was like, I asked her, can I take the Constitution another time? She was like, yes, go ahead. But don't take all the tests in one day. You're sitting in front of a computer screen, and after I got done with math and reading, I was like, my eyes hurt, you know. It was a problem. My head started hurting looking at the computer screen for so long, and it was just, it just wasn't right for me. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like I said, this is my testimony. So after I got done with those tests, I didn't take the Constitution. I had to reschedule it. So I failed a test. I failed one test, and I was just like, man, I was so down, and I was like, it's crazy. I gotta pay for this test again. So I had to reschedule it. So I had a deadline to get my GED. So I had to reschedule these tests, and I was able to reschedule it the day of my deadline, except for my Constitution. Now, the Constitution is not on the computer. It's a written part of the test. So the guy that was doing the Constitution, he didn't work that day. He worked the next day, which is the day after my deadline. So I went back to take the test, and I did pass that test that I did fail. And then I had to take the Constitution the next day. I already had paid for it. I couldn't get my money back. So the lady called me, Lynn called me. She was like, did you pass all your tests? I'm like, I passed them all, but I couldn't take the Constitution. She was like, oh, well, you know, they said you had a deadline. I'm sorry. We might have to move on to the next candidate. She said, I really wish I could have had you on board with us. So I said, Miss Lynn, I have a high school diploma. This was so inconvenient for me. Y'all gonna have to give me another business day because I'm taking my Constitution tomorrow. I can't take no for an answer. So she was like, okay, I'll work with you. I went in and I took my Constitution. I was prepared for it. I got a good night's sleep. I had a good breakfast. So I prepared for my Constitution, and I went in there and I passed that Constitution. And I was so excited. I was so excited. Now at this point, your girl got the job. I had a J-O-B. I had a job at DaVita. They trained me to be a dialysis tech. So I have phlebotomy, dialysis tech, and I have my high school diploma. I'm probably the only one in the world that has a high school diploma and a GED. So I have a high school diploma, GED, dialysis, and phlebotomy. So it was by the grace of God. So in DaVita, I came across some great people. My old supervisor, her name is Kristen. Shout out to Kristen. We had an amazing team. It was all women on the team. It was great. It was great. Shout out to my whole team. Over at DeVita, they threw me a surprise baby shower. So I got pregnant with Ray when I was working at DeVita. So they threw me a surprise baby shower. I had my gender reveal there. They was just like family to me. But that's just my testimony on things that I went through. I cleaned it up a little bit. I did go through, you know, different things within that time, but what I have wrote down is what I just felt in my heart someone needs to hear. I don't know if it's you, but if it's not you, I would appreciate if you guys share, because I don't know who this is for, but like I said, something was telling me to tell you guys this, you know. But this is a part of my life that you know, that made me, or you know, where I am, or however you want to call it. But I did go, I've been through a lot. I really have. But one thing I do want to say to whoever is watching this, whatever you want to do, do it. Don't take no for an answer. Be you, be yourself, know what you want to do, and if you don't, it's okay. It's okay. Just keep trying and keep going and keep your head up and have faith, pray, and whatever you want to do, you don't have to tell the whole world. You can keep it to yourself. But as long as you do it for yourself, it will be done. As long as you get down on your knees and pray, God will guide you. God will guide you. So follow in His footsteps and tell your truth. Be yourself, and you know, just tune into TFT. Tune into TLT. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I didn't overtalk you guys. Like I said, this is my testimony. I couldn't tell it any other way. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. My husband do, as well as all 4 of my children. We do. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to be here and be on this platform to be able to share different things like this with you guys. You guys stay safe. Stay blessed and stay positive. Enjoy the rest of your day. Until next time, deuces.